Welcome everybody to part 4 of FreeCAD for Absolute Beginner, a woodworker's perspective. The previous videos, I took my time with a lot of things. Maybe I over-explained them. Not sure. Hopefully I didn't, but I felt it was necessary to go into a little more, detail and slow things down. Today in part 4, we're gonna draw a cutting board and introduce the feature fillet. So you'll learn, if you've followed the previous videos, you probably got a good level of FreeCAD sketching exposure. So now I'm going to get through the sketch part of this fairly quickly without too much explaining, and then we'll get into the 3D model to use the fillet command, and then we're going to do it's a cube paperweight with multiple holes put into the paperweight. It's a pretty interesting looking object, and something that's again, it's a single piece. It's not multiple pieces put together, but this looks like it's well, at least to me it looks like it's multiple pieces when you look at it, so I'll show it to you. So let me bring the cutting board up real quick. It's pretty simple. I'm trying to find the other one. Here we go. Okay, and this is the paperweight cube that I was talking about. You start out with a cube, and this is the way it's done in FreeCAD, like you would do in your wood shop. Start with a cube, and you'd start boring or drilling, whatever you want to call it, down into the cube in multiple layers to get this effect. And it's just the same for FreeCAD. So this is truly a woodworker's perspective on this item here. Let's go ahead and fire up FreeCAD and get going. I'm going to attempt to change the units to inches instead of millimeters. I know I showed you how in the previous videos where you can leave it set to millimeters and override it. But in this video, I'm going to attempt to change the units and see how that works out for me. I've had trouble with it in the past, but we'll see how it behaves today. Go ahead and start a new drawing, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. Save as. I'll hit save. And then I will name this, I'll just name it cutting board. Yeah. Cutting board, there we go. Hit save. Let me turn on my cursor so you can see it better. There we go. Started a new file, named it cutting board, the model tab, got that. Now we need to, when you name the file cutting board, it shows here as well. We will start a body. There you go. I'm going to right click on that body and rename it. I'm going to call that cutting board as well. For some reason I like to use all caps on my on the bodies, so I'll use cutting board, enter, and there we go. And the next step will be to start a sketch. And I think I'm just going to use the top, which would be the XY plane, to do this cutting board. And I'm going to double click there to start the sketch. This report view is up. I'm going to go ahead and hit the X and get rid of that. Alright, so what size is the cutting board? Go back over. It's 21 overall by 11, so we're looking at 21 by 11, but then up here where it makes the turn before the handle, it's 15 and a half. So 21 by 11, 15 and a half. We'll go with that. I'll put my line in there. I'm just going to see where 21 is, so I can size my sketch screen properly. I'm going to hit this auto dimension, apply it there to that endpoint, and I will go with 21 inch mark and then delete till the millimeters are gone. Hit OK, and there you go. We're going to need that size of the screen right there to work with. So now I'm just going to right click to get out of that, hold down my left button and drag it down and then release it, and then I'm hitting my delete key to get rid of it. Alright, we've got the right size screen. The one thing I forgot to do, I should have done in the beginning, is change the units. We'll go ahead and do that now. Up in the edit, preferences, let me go in, I think it's in Sketcher. Oh, actually it might be in general up here. Yeah, here we go. So for your units, I'm going to go with they have the US customary, but they also have the imperial decimal. I'm pausing because I'm trying to see which one will allow me to do fractions. The imperial might allow it. Let's give that a try, and if that doesn't work, then I'll try customary and see if that'll work. All right, so I'm going to select imperial, and 2 decimal points is really all we need to do here for what we're doing. I'm going to hit apply, and then I'll hit the X to get out of that. So now it should give us the option for inches instead of automatically making it millimeters when we input it. So, all right, let's go ahead and get a line going here. I'm going to right click and get out of that. I'm going to do the multi-line here and just kind of do a U-shape figure. Make that vertical. Make sure that's horizontal. You see the vertical's not showing, but I slide over and you get the vertical symbol. There it is right there. So vertical. All right, so we know we want a right click to get out of that automatic line. I'm going to select that line, hit that dimension. I'm seeing millimeters. Okay. Let's go back. Preferences. Okay. Ignore the project unit system and use default, which I have default set to that. So let's try that. Now I will apply it. Get out of there. Let's try that again. I'm going to right click just to get out of it. Select that. Ah, there we go. It's giving me inches. Alright, so we'll go there, and we know that we want 11 inches, so that'll be easy. 11, hit enter, so we don't have to mess with the millimeters. So far, so good. And we know that the overall height was 21, but that was with the handle. I believe it was 15 and a half inches for this side here. That looks like decimal. So I'm going to go 15. I'm going to try this. I'm not sure if it'll work, but I'm going to put a space in there and use a fraction, half. And let's see what we get there. I just got 15 inches. I'm going to right click. Let me double click that. Yep, it didn't like the fraction. All right, so I'll go 15.5. There we go. Okay, I really want to try to set this up for fractions, so I'm going to go back again and let's try the, I think it was the customary. Customary, apply. I could probably hit OK too instead of the X. All right, just on this line here, let's see what we can do there. So I'll select that. Select that. Length. All right, I'm going to put 15 space half, and that looks like a foot symbol to me. But I'm not feeling good about this. Let's give it a shot. Inch mark. Oh, it went into yards. Okay, hey, this is kind of raw, and I'm trying to keep it as unedited as possible to show you that I don't have it all figured out either. Now this one defaulted to feet, and I think it's because it went over 12 inches. Anything over 12 inches, it'll go to feet. So I'm going to switch it back to imperial, and we're going to use fractions for now until I get the I'm sorry, we're going to use decimal until I can get the fractions figured out. I kind of wanted to do this on the fly so that we kind of learn together, but I can do decimals. I'm pretty good with decimals, so we'll leave it at decimal, hit apply, hit OK, and hopefully by the next video I'll have it figured out. Alright, so I select that line, I'll hit automatic dimension. We know we want that one to 15.5. Let's hit enter, and there we go. Now you don't have to, but it would be nice. I'm selecting my left button and dragging this around. I kind of like to lock it into our reference lines here. So I'm going to center this 11 inches on, to this line right here. I could either go 5.5 inches. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. Wait a minute, there's another way. There's another way, but then I'm going to have to break it when I start rounding these corners out. So let me just go ahead and do that for now. I'm going to select this line and this line, or you can do the origin there, that dot. Either one, I'll go with that line. Do automatic dimensioning. I'll just pull it down to here. And I'll go 5.5, hit enter. Alright, we'll grab that line again. We got it locked in left to right, up and down. We got to lock it in there. And I think I'm just going to lock it in at about 5 inches from here to here. Hit the automatic dimension and just type in 5, hit it there. Okay, we've got it fully constrained, those three lines, but by the time we get finished putting our radiuses in there, it's gonna break some of these dimensions. All right, so let me go ahead and do that while I'm thinking of it. We've got this command up here, which is a fillet. You hit the triangle there. You can also do a chamfer, which is a straight line, but we'll go with the fillet. And this red dimension line is covering up that line. It'll select it, but I'm just going to see if I can move that out of your way for a second. There you go. And likewise, put this here. So now, if you remember before, wherever I select this line and this line is where it's going to put the radius. It really doesn't matter where you grab it because we're going to set a dimension on it, but I will do it about there. Select it about there. Oh, I think because I moved the dimensions, I got kicked out. Let me try that again. Select that. Then I'll select the line. And the line. There we go. And we can keep doing that. So again, that dimension line there is covering up the line, but it'll still select. I'll put it right there. Select. And select. And there we go. And what is that radius? We'll look at that real quick. 1 1/8 inch. Okay. All right. So I'll select that line, hit auto, and it was 1 1/8 inch, 1.125. And then I'm just going to set this radius, select that radius, come up here and set it to equal. There we go. To make those radiuses equal. All right, so far so good. We got everything fully constrained. Now we need to go up here and work this part. Let me see what we're going to do with that. I think I'm going to start out with this 4-inch diameter outside circle and then just kind of work these radiuses in. So we have 4-inch diameter, and then this radius here is 1 1/8 like these. And it looks like that is 5.5 inches height to there. All right, let's give it a try. 4-inch diameter, 1 1/8 inch radius, 5.5. Okay. I'm gonna do this for that outside circle. I'm going to use center point and radius. So my center point is going to be on this line, and then I'm going to put the radius here, swinging around, select there. I'm going to right click to get out of that, and just trying to move it up. I'm going to put a small line segment here. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to right click and go back and look at the picture. I'm not sure if there's a line segment. Yeah, there is. There's a line segment right there. Okay. So I will go ahead and put a line for right there on that end point, drag it over. I'll put it almost to that Y reference line. We select it here, pull it over, do the same thing there. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the radius command, fillet command, select, continue selecting, right click to get out of it. Now I'm going to select that fillet. I'm going to select that fillet, and I'm going to hold down the control key to select a third line, which would be that one, and set it to equal. There we go. So now we got 1, 2, 3 fillets that are equal to this. So anytime if we go in here and we change the radius here in the lower right, then the other ones will automatically change. Alright, I think we're off to a pretty good start so far. Alright, I know that we want this 4-inch diameter or 2-inch radius, so let me hit the automatic dimensioning, select the radius. The radius is set for 3 right now. Set that to 2, hit enter. There we go. Alright, so we're locked in on the radius. These points can still move. I'm going to slide this back a little bit. Slide this back. That's weird. Yeah. Just pull it down a little bit. Okay. Now, on a previous video, you saw me put radiuses in here, and then I used the tangent constraint. And then when I did that, I trimmed off the ends of the radiuses. That, I haven't worked with radiuses in a while, but I figured out that was not the right way to do it. I can just go ahead and attach radiuses to this point here, and it will automatically make it a tangent. So let's see if I got that right. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I think I'm going to do like a 3-point arc right there. And I'll select that point. I will select that point, and I can adjust it like that. Adjust. Okay. Now, let me see if the points are attached, but I think I can select this, select that, and fingers crossed, tangent. Okay. Endpoint to endpoint tangency was applied, but the coincident constraint was deleted. That's because we have this up here, which whenever you over constrain something, it deletes another one to put an automatic constraint. I over constrained it, so it put a different constraint in there, which isn't making sense so far. But let me hit the OK button and see what happens. Alright, I'm going to pull this down to see. We had a constraint. It said it was tangent. Yeah, I see it right there. That's the tangent symbol. So those two, it doesn't look tangent, but it's supposed to be. So now let me do that with this one. Make this line and that arc tangent. Select that. I got the same message. Hit OK. And it worked. Wonderful. Oh, that's good. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. All right. So now I'm going to select that arc and make it equal to the arc down here. Select that arc and hit equal. And there we go. Now let's do this one over here. 3-point arc. Select select there. Make sure I grab the endpoint, place it approximately there, right click to get out of it. Now I'm going to select this line and this arc, make it tangent, hit OK. When it made a constraint substitution, I'm going to uncheck that box so it doesn't have to let me know. Hit OK. Alright, now we're going to make this arc and this arc tangent. So select that one first, then this one. It doesn't matter what order you select it in. And hit constraint. There we go. Alright, so I think that we're all locked in here now. I got to assign this a radius, and then we got to give this a height. Kind of lock it down a little bit more. Alright, so select that radius, select the one down here, and I'm going to hit equal sign, and there we go. It says it's got 1 degree of freedom, and to me, I'm going to grab that point. It should be just that right there, setting that height. I think I said 5.5 inches from here to the top, and we know we got 2-inch radius, so I'm going to make it 3.5 to this center point. I just selected that center point, and now I'm just going to select this line or this end point. It doesn't matter. One of these, something right in here or on that side, but I'll go ahead and select. I'll hit that line, do the automatic dimensioning, put it over here, and we said we're going to make that 3.5, and there we go. Almost there. We just got to put a circle in the middle. I'm going to right click to get out of that, and the circle, to see what the diameter or radius is. It's a 2-inch diameter hole. Okay, 2-inch diameter. Go back here. So I'm going to select this to make a circle. Make sure I get that that point. You want the crosshairs. You see as I go up there, if you look at the lower right quadrant of that purple circle, you'll see the symbols come up as I'm touching lines. I'm looking for crosshairs on that point. There you go. So crosshairs, it means I got that point. So I'll select with the left button, pull it out there, right click to get out of it. Alright, so I got my circle. Alright, let's dimension it. So I'll select the circle, put a dimension there. I could have dimensioned it when I made the circle, but I did not take advantage of that, so we're going to do that now. Should be 1-inch radius, 2-inch diameter, so put it 2. And there we go. Right click, get out of that. Okay, everything's fully constrained, so now we should be able to just close this sketch and pat it to a thickness. And if you're a neat freak, you'll want to come in here and move these things around and clean it up, organize some of these dimensions. I guess you could call me ODC. I think that's the term for it. And I would normally do that on my own, but I'll spare you the agony here. Let's go ahead and close out. And where's my sketch? I'm gonna spin the wheel down. There it is, just like that. Okay. So also remember, I put it back like that because I want you to remember that when you get into a situation like that, I think it's one of these up here. Watch, I won't be able to find it now, but I'm trying to find fit to all. It might be this guy here. There it is, fit all. So when you lose your sketch like that, you're like, where did it go? Hit this button, there you go, and it brings it in. There have been times when I'm drawing something and I've got my mouse wheel going and I'm panning Um, I'm panning all over the place trying to find it, and I lost it. And at that time, years ago, I didn't know that was a feature. So dummy me. Anyhow, let's go ahead and pad it. It has to be highlighted to pad, so I'm going to hit the select the sketch. Now it's highlighted, and I will select pad. And the thickness, I think it was 1 inch. I could be wrong. It's showing 1 inch. Yeah, there we go, 1 inch. And also notice the radius is 3/8, and that 3/8 radius goes all the way around. It applies to everything. So yeah, and we got a top radius and we got a bottom radius on this side of the board and the opposite side. FreeCAD. All right, so 1 inch. Now see, this is where I talked in previous videos where I've had issues when I change my units over to inches. It doesn't, all the functionalities they don't all default to inches. So here we go, we got millimeters. So now I'm stuck with millimeter inputs. So, and it happens more than just, it happens in other things when you're trying to add features to a model that you built after you've sketched it. There may be a way around it that I'm not aware of yet, but now I've got to invoke what I taught you in previous lessons. To bypass that millimeter, I'm going to put 1 inch mark, and if you remember, I just hold the delete key down to get rid of the millimeters. There we go. And I'll hit OK, and that pads it. So there you go. There's our cutting board. Now I want to introduce the feature of fillet. You saw me use it in Sketcher. Double click that, the fillet here. Let me close that out. But this is something different in the 3D model. You grab an edge and it puts the fillet on that edge. Now some models you'll get lucky if you want it to fill all the way around the object. You just select one edge, like I'll select that one and apply fillet, and it should go continuous all the way around the object. So we'll see, where is the fillet? It is right here. It's a fillet command right there. So I can select that, but I also want to show you part design. It is a subtractive feature. Hold on. Huh. I know it's up here. It's not additive. It's not additive, it's subtractive. Apply a pattern. Dress up. Okay, it's a dress up. So we're applying a dress up feature, which is a fillet. So that's good to know. So I just want you to know that it's available in more than just selecting this icon up here. But I'm trying to get used to using these icons, so let's go ahead with that. First I'll select the line, and then I'll select the fillet, and you can barely see it, but it did exactly what I said. It went all the way around and put it. So here is the fillet it applied, a 1 millimeter. I'm going to select this arrow to increase the size, and you can see in the screen how the fillet is getting larger. But we want a 3/8 inch fillet. Double check that. Yeah, 3 inch radius. So since that's highlighted, I'm going to go 0.375. hold my delete key down to get rid of the millimeters, and then I will select OK. And that did not work. So now I'm going to right click and see what happened. For some reason it kept the millimeters. I thought I got rid of the millimeters. So all I got to do there is select it and then backspace, and the 3/8 is there. What happened is I forgot to put the inch mark. Now I'll hit OK, and there we go. That's a 3-inch radius. Yep, fillet radius, fillet. All right, I'm gonna rotate it to the other side. Let's fillet that. Grab this edge. There we go. Select that edge. Fillet. And you can see it put it all the way around. And there's another technique you can do too, is just hold it down, swipe to the left, and that millimeter should go away without having to hit the delete key. So I'm going to get 0.375 this time, apply the inch mark. I should be able to hit enter on the keyboard, or you can select the OK up there. I hit enter on the keyboard. All right, so there we go. We have our cutting board. So while we got this up here, I'm going to hit this view button there. I always use that up there to orient it. All right, let's do a couple things to this. I want to change the color, get it more wood-like looking, at least in color. I don't have any textures to add here yet. I'm going to figure that out later. I have used AI to add textures, but that's another day if you want to go into that. And I also want to get rid of these lines. These lines are necessary to show you how it was built, but we can get rid of those lines. So let's first change the color. I'll select cutting board, and then down here you got data tab, you got view tab. In the view tab, and then I'll go shape, appearance. I'll select that, then I'll select that, and it'll give me color options. I think you saw me do it on previous videos. That's probably where I got these colors. But I start with that color, and then I use this slider over here to kind of, hey, do I want a darker wood or a lighter wood? I'm going to go a little bit darker this time. And hit OK. And there we go. Yeah, I know that doesn't look like wood. But I promise you another day, I'm going to learn a little bit more about putting, I think they're called textures on surfaces. I've done it before. It's been a while where I put wood grain on here, but they don't really give you a lot of selections. It's not all that great. If I did it now, it would just look like a piece of plywood. And I will probably show you how to do it with AI too. That is pretty cool, to take a picture of this, put it in AI, and ask them to duplicate it in a certain type of wood, species of wood, and it comes out looking really, really good. All right, so let's get rid of these lines. I'm gonna right click, drawing style. I'm gonna go, right now it's set to flat lines. I'm gonna go shaded. There you go. The lines are removed, and what it really looks like now is a copper cutting board. But I'm gonna go with that. All right, yay, we got that one done. All right, our cutting board is done. I am going to close out and close FreeCAD and start up a new one for that paperweight. In fact, I don't even have to close it out. I could just, got a couple of options. I could hit close up here, just close, not close all. And I also have this X down here on this tab, where we got the start tab where we started. Here's our drawing. I could hit the X there. So let me try that. And it'll just ask me to save. And I've already named it. Yeah, cutting board. So I'll hit save. And there we go. Now let's start a new one. file, new. We're going to use this. It's a little bit of a shortcut. It opens it. It already sets up a body for you that you can rename or keep it body if you like. Because if you add more bodies to it, let me try that. You see it just numbers the bodies 1 through whatever. So I'm going to reverse out of that. There we go. Now we're at our body. Hit the triangle to bring it down to origin. All right, let me save the file. Yeah, let's save. And I'll call this one take caps off. I'll just go with 2 words, paperweight. And you can see this where I've done it before. It was probably a few months ago when I did that. Let me go ahead and hit save. And do you want to replace it? Sure. Alright, and we got paperweight down here on this tab. I'm going to go ahead and select the body. I can right click it, or I think it was F2. Let me try F2 on my keyboard to see if I'm right. Yep. Select F2. That's a little bit of a shortcut. I like all caps for some reason. That's just a thing that I do. Paperweight. All right, and then now we want that XY plane. I'll go ahead and use the XY plane, select that, hit OK. Let's look at the size of the paperweight. Come over here. All right, so this is a 2.5 by 2.5 by 2.5 cube. That should be pretty easy. Yeah, super simple. I should have started with this one. All right, I'm not going to worry too much about the size here. I'm scrolling in and out because what we're going to do is just do, you could do a rectangle. I'll do that and right click to get out of it and make it 1.5 by 1.5. But let me get out of that and show you that if you select this triangle here, you can actually get a centered rectangle. Centered. So you grab a center point and that locks it in on the origin point. And I'll select that. Now I could either select the button or take advantage of, if you look down at the bottom of that cube, the dimension there, 2.81 inch, I can type since it's highlighted, and that's what I'll do. So I think we said 1.5, hit enter, and then it goes to the other dimension, and I'll do 1.5, hit enter, and there we go. It's locked in. We're done. I just want to double check the size. I got 2.5. Okay. All right. My brain's going. Short-term memory's gone. I'll go ahead and double click that. 2.5. There we go. And do the same there. 2.5. Okay. Great. We're fully constrained. We don't need to do anything else except for close out and pad it. So there's our rectangle. We'll hit a pad up here, or sometimes this tab will show it here. But I'm trying to be consistent where I use commands, so I'll use this pad here. There we go. And this is amazing because this time it gave me inches, and I wonder, I think I know why, because when we drew the cutting board, we set it, and what I should have probably have done was set it, close out of FreeCAD, and open it back up, because it looks like it set the other commands units of measurement to the default that I set in the preferences. So that's good to know. Okay, I'm glad to see inches are there. All right, so we want 2.5 inches. I shouldn't have to put inch marks. We're good to go. There we go. All right, we got our cube. I'm gonna go to the model tab. I just like working off the model tab. All right, I haven't done this in a while, so let's see what we got to do here. What we want to do, this is a new technique where we're going to attach sketches to these faces. So let me start with this face right here. Select that face, and then I'm going to hit sketch. Okay, and there you go. And then I'm going to put a circle in there. Let's see what the size is, diameter. All right, the first one is a 2-inch diameter, 15-30 seconds deep. That's specific. All right, 2-inch diameter, 15-30 seconds deep. All right, FreeCAD. Select the center. There you go. Got the crosshairs. And while it's highlighted, I think it said 2-inch diameter. So 2. Select enter. There we go. That's it. Fully constrained. I told you this is going to be a little bit easier. Let me close out of it. Now we need to make a hole. So now that we have that sketch drawn on that surface, we can select the pocket. I'm sorry, not a hole. If you select a hole, it's going to go all the way through. So should I do it? Yeah, just for the fun of it. Do that. Did it go through? No. Oh, the hole wants other data, so we're not going to go there today. Let me select this sketch over here to highlight it. Let's just go ahead and go with a pocket. So it pockets it, and we wanted 15-30 seconds deep. A fraction will work in this case. I know I told you earlier when I tried to do like a 1 dash then a fraction, it didn't work. But when you use a fraction by itself, it'll do the math. So when it sees 15-30 seconds, this FreeCAD has a program called Python embedded in it, and Python will take that 15-30 seconds and turn it into a decimal for you, so you don't have to do the math. So let's now see if it makes a liar of me. 15-30 seconds. I'll hit enter, and there we go. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to go to edit the pocket because I want to see what it did. It went 0.47. 15-30 seconds. Yep. Hit OK. All right, here's the fun part. We have to do this to all 6 sides. So we might as well go ahead and do that. And then in a future video, I think I'm going to show you how to copy sketches and use it on other surfaces to kind of save you time. But then when you do that, you have to break its dependencies. So I'm going to do the long method here, and hang in there. I'm going to try to speed through it, and I will, more than likely, I'm going to speed this up when I do the video. So here we go. Select the surface, do sketch. All right, now we got to center that circle. So how do you do that? Well, you see these edges here? You can do it a couple ways. I mean, we know that the cube is 2.5 inches, so we could draw a circle. Let's do that. On that line, it's touching that line, and we know it's 2 inch. Right click. It's not fully constrained because that circle now can move up and down. So with this being 2.5, I want it set 1.25 from here up. So let's do that. There to there, and go 1.25. There we go. Close. We're going to select pocket. Sorry. There we go. 15, 30 seconds, and I'll hit the enter button on the keyboard, and it puts it there. All right. Now, let me try to show you something else. Now I'm going to select this. That's selected. That surface, and hit sketch. And this time I want to show you something a little different. Whenever you use a surface to put a sketch on it, you can use these edges, but right now it doesn't recognize the edges when I put the pointer over it. So what you have to do is use this icon right here. I'm going to select that. You see it says it creates external geometry. So I'm going to select that. Now I'm able to select these lines, and I only need to select 2 lines really to do what I want to do. Alright, I'm just showing you a different way to do this, that's all. I'm going to draw a line segment from this endpoint, now that I brought that line in, to this endpoint. There we go. It shows that it's fully constrained because we didn't even dimension it, but it's fully constrained because it's locked into other lines that we are referencing by pulling it in. And those lines are already locked in, constrained. Therefore, this is locked in and constrained. I hope that makes sense. But what I'm going to attempt to do now is, now that I have that line drawn, is to put that circle right at the midpoint of that line and see if it lets me do that. So select the circle, select the line, and let's see what happens here. Oh, there it is. Okay, look at the lower right corner of that purple circle. You see the arc. That's the symbol that it is, what is it called? Coincident to that line. As I move it closer to the center of that line, it's going to give me a midpoint. Right, there you go. There it is. A midpoint. So if I select that line, it's going to automatically put it in the middle, the midpoint of that line segment. So let me select that. And there we go. All right. And we want 2 inches. Boom. I'm going to right click to get out of it. Now we have a dilemma here, because this line right here, we can delete it, but if we delete it, then now we lose that midpoint reference. So what you want to do is select that line and make it a construction line. And you do that with this symbol up here. Okay? Now it is a construction line. So when you close and you pat it, it will work. Or when you use the pocket. All right, so let's, just to show you what I'm talking about, I'm going to set it back to a regular line, and then I'm going to close, and then we're going to try to put a pocket, and it doesn't work because of that wire. See it right there? the wire is not closed. All right, so let's hit cancel. Let's double click on this sketch here, go back, and now let's make that wire a construction line. Let's close it, and there we go. Now we can pocket it. I'm going to move it a little bit here so I can see the depth of the pocket. I'm going to go ahead and hit the X here to close out this this report view. All right. Now I'm going to set that to 30 seconds. Hit enter. And there you go. Now you can see it's starting to take shape here. All right, let's do that again with another one. We're going to select that face, hit sketch, and remember we did that symbol to pull in these lines here. Okay, now this time we'll do the same thing. We'll draw a line, but I'm going to set this geometry, these geometry functions to construction. And how you do that is with the same symbol. So when you select, earlier when I selected the line and then selected that, it changed that line that I had selected. But if you select this symbol without selecting a line, then it makes all of these commands up here construction lines. So let me show you that. Select it, and you see they all turn blue. Now, if you draw a circle or use any of these functions, they're going to be construction lines. So now let me go select that line segment. Remember, I did an endpoint before, end to end. Now that I use this to bring this geometry in. I'm just curious if it's going to give me the midpoint option. It does. Look at that. So you don't have to go end to end. You can go midpoint to midpoint. There you go. Right click. Now you want to set this to, set it back to regular geometry, solid lines. And then we'll do our circle. And we'll try to find the midpoint of that line. There we go. Midpoint symbol. And 2. Fully constrain. Close. We do a pocket. That's already highlighted. So we go 15, 30 seconds. And there you go. Now let me find another one. We'll select this face here. Then I'm going to, just to show you that I did select it, because it was white. When the face is straight at you, it's white, and it's kind of hard to tell. Like I'm selecting it, it's hard to tell if it's selected or not. But it will show you here when it's selected. So I'm just going to kind of spin it around a little bit so you'll see that it's selected. All right, select. To reset it, just select out here in space outside the object. All right, so there, hit that, enter, selected it, hit sketch, and that'll put the sketch right on that face. All right, bring in the geometry here. I'll do this one here. Right click, I want to set that to, these are all set to construction now. I'll do a line segment from here to here. Right click to get out of it. Now let's say you leave it construction by accident, and we do the circle thing. There's the midpoint. It's like 2 inches. Hit. Now we got a construction line. And if we close that, that's not going to work. So I'm going to double click on the sketch here to get back in. And in this case, you can select the circle if you inadvertently forgot to put it back to undo the construction selection. Anyhow, I selected the circle, select, Make sure I got it selected. There you go. And then I'll hit the symbol and it changes it to a solid line. All right, right click, get out of it. And select it again to make everything else solid geometry, but you don't really have to do that. All right, I'm going to close it and do that over here, 15-30 seconds. There we go. All right, looks like we only have one more face to do. We'll select that face, do a sketch. That time, we're on center, so that helps us. Go there. And 2. Fully constrained, closed, pocket, 15-30 seconds, enter. And there we go. But we're not done. We have to do these faces here. All right, let's go back to the picture. Now they want us to go right here, 1 inch diameter. And it has to be exactly 30 seconds deep. All right, let's go have some fun. 1 inch and 30 seconds. All right, we'll select that. That's face, do a sketch to put 1 inch. There we go. And close it, pocket, and this time we want 30 seconds. Hit enter. All right, now I'm just going to work my way around the cube here. All right, select, sketch. Remember to bring in the geometry. Right there and there, and we can do midpoint to midpoint. All right, so right click. I want to do a construction line here. I want to go midpoint to, come on, midpoint. Right click, get out of construction, do a circle, and use that midpoint there. And 1 inch. It's fully constrained. Close it. 30 seconds deep. 30 seconds. Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah. Select face. Sketch. Use the origin. 1 inch. Fully constrained. Close, pocket, 30 seconds, enter. All right, where are we at now? Side number 4, it is selected. Again, it's hard to tell on that angle, so pull it around, but I did select the face. Sketch, pull in the reference. Use left and right or top and bottom. We'll do top and bottom just to be different. Top and bottom so we can use the midpoints. Right click, get out of it. Construction line, segment, midpoint to midpoint. Right click, set it back to regular geometry, circle, midpoint, 1 inch, enter, close, pocket, 30 seconds. Look at all those pockets over here on the left. All right. All right, got 2 more pockets to do there. Hope you're having fun. All right, select that, face, sketch. Bring these line segments in as reference. right click that line segment, midpoint, there it is, midpoint to midpoint, right click, go back to regular, find the midpoint, type in 1 inch, hit enter, fully constrain, close. While it's highlighted, we should be able to hit pocket and type in 30 seconds, enter. All right, here we go. Let's do that one. Select. A little hoarse now. Just talking. I'm just not used to talking this much. I'm normally just a very quiet type person. All right. That line, I forgot to set it to construction. That's okay. We can do that. Mid to mid. Right click, get out of it, select that line, go to construction. There we go. Now we can do circle, get the midpoint, type 1 inch, it's fully constrained, close it, give it a pocket, 30 seconds, and there we go. All right, we're almost there. Almost there. We got 6 more to do. Let's see what they want us to do with that. Okay, that's this is going to be actually a little easier because with the hole going all the way through, or the pocket going through, that'll be less drawing that we have to do. So that'll be fun. All right, man, take a drink here, clear my voice. All right, I'm going to select that surface, hit sketch to put it, there you go. Yay. Okay, that looks different. Why is that different? It's not aligning. Let me hit top. You see how there's something wrong with these pockets are out of alignment on the far side there. I gotta fix that. See if I'm right. Okay, I selected that pocket. So what I want to do, I select that line, that edge there, and it highlighted this pocket. So it means that the sketch that's inside of that pocket, I'll double click that. Everything looks centered. Now I'm going to hold down the wheel and the right, either the right or left side of the mouse. Hold that down, go around to the other side. Hit front. Why are you different? All right, let me close out of that. So that's what we're looking at. Now I'm going to go to the other side. Remember, I think this dot right here will just, we'll flip you automatically to the other side. So I'm going to hit that dot and boom, we're on the other side. Good. All right, now I want to select this, spin it over a little bit, select that edge, and this pocket highlights, double click that. Nope, that's not right. Bottom. Okay, this is bugging me. Sorry, we're going to do a little detour. Yep, you see that? Okay. All right, well, this is kind of good. It's going to make the video longer, but we got to get this worked out. I double click that line. What if I click, I'm going to click that edge in the background. That line. That edge is showing me pocket 11. select this edge. Huh. All right. I gotta find that pocket. So it keeps showing me pocket 11, but I'm not sure if that's right. So I'm going to turn these pockets on, turn it off, messing it up. All right, so this is what we want to do here. We know that the bottom, and then if I hit that button, it'll flip it over, top. So the bottom and top orientation, this is where this comes in handy. The sketches that are on the bottom and the top are what we want. If you remember the first 6 pockets we did, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that was the outside, and then so 7 through 13 should be the inside pockets. So I'm going to open these up. I'm going to double click it. No, I'm not. I'm going to drop it down. There's the sketch. I'm going to double click the sketch, and that's the left side, so that's not the pocket. Go back. Close that pocket. No, actually I'm going to leave it open. And then I'm going to open number 8, double click that sketch, and that's the top. There you go. All right, now I'm looking for where this could be off. And that circle, yeah, that constraint is on a circle. Here's the constraint right there. All right. So it shouldn't be that one. Let's go back out. So now what I want is the sketch on the opposite side of top, which is bottom. So close out here. Scroll down. I'm going to open up that pocket. Double click that sketch, and it puts me on the right side, so I know that's not right. Go down to pocket 10. It's probably pocket 11, but hey. Process of elimination. There's the front. Yep. And then pocket 11, sketch 13. There you go. Let me. Oh, that's an empty sketch. How did that happen? Let me close that. Oh, this sketch. Okay, I'll show you what happened here. I'm going to collapse pocket number 11. When I collapse it, it looks like this sketch. You see how these sketches are all underneath the pockets? Because they're related. That sketch was used to make that pocket. That sketch was used to make that pocket. So I'm looking at this sketch was used to make that pocket. But if you notice this, to do the drop down, there's a sketch for that pocket. Somehow I accidentally created this sketch here, and when I created it, it was not on one of these surfaces. So that was just a random sketch that was accidentally inserted. So what I'm going to do is select that sketch. I'm going to hit my delete key on the keyboard. We're all good. So the issue, if I double click on 12, hopefully I'll be able to find what the problem is. But that's on the rear. Close that. I'm still looking for a bottom. Go there. All right, let me try this sketch again. We have front. That is the front. We'll close it. Go to this next pocket, and that's the right side. So close that. Go to this sketch on that pocket. There's the top, which could also be the bottom. depending on the plane. All right. So the top and the bottom sketch, they should have both been centered on that origin. All right, close it. So that is sketch number 9. Sketch number 9, when I double click it, it takes me to the top. Close. All right, so let's try another sketch. 8, that's left. We don't want that. 6, that's the large one. Oh, there you go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We found it. Bottom. And you see that circle is not locked in. That's a good reason why you do constraints. You have to constrain your items. It can mess you up. So now all I need to do is either set a dimension from here to there and set the dimension to 0, or let's try to make those 2 points. That's the center of the circle. We'll make the center of the circle coincident with the origin point there. All right, so select that first, select, then select that point, and then hit coincident. Try it again. Nope, it's not working. All right, I just didn't do it right, I think. All right, select. If you can see, the coincident symbol is in that purple circle, so I didn't right click to get out of it. Right click to get out of it, close that error. Now we'll go up here and select that point. I selected it. I see it selected over here. Now I need to select that origin. I can see the origin highlighted, so when I select it, that should have been a good selection. Hit constrain to a coincident, and it didn't put it there. It's already locked onto this line, so that's what the issue is. So I need to delete this constraint. See that constraint right there? That is that is called, is it collinear? Coincident between points. So it is a tangent. I think that's a tangent. So I'm going to select that constraint. You see it highlights it over here, and hit the delete key on my board, and the circle should go right to the origin. Delete that. There you go. All right. So now we're fully constrained. I'll close it. Finally. And that got rid of the problem. Okay. Top. Yep. Everything aligns. Whew. All right. Wow. Close. Close. All right, the last thing we need to do now is let's drill some holes in here. And I forgot what size it is. It's a 1/4 inch diameter hole all the way through. And we're doing 3 surfaces. Why 3 surfaces and not 4? We're doing that one, that one, that one. That does not even make sense to me, but let's go in there and we will see why they're doing that. 3 surfaces. I think that should be 4 surfaces. 1, 2, 3. No, actually it should be 2. No, and then 3. That's right. Now it makes sense. Because we got 6 sides, you only have to put a hole all the way through on half of the sides. 3. Man, my brain is not working tonight. Back to FreeCAD. I'll select that surface, do a sketch, and we're going to put a hole right through it. Right there. And it was a 1/4 inch, 0.25. All right, close it. And this time we're going to do a hole that goes all the way through. So you select the pocket. Let me get back on that sketch. There you go. Select the pocket. And then right here where it says dimension, you can say through all. There. Now the hole should have gone all the way through to the other side. There we go. Okay. Go here. I'm going to select that face. Hit the sketch. I'm going to bring in the sides, these segments as references. Right click. I'm going to draw a construction line from midpoint to midpoint. Right click to get out. Change it back to solid lines. Do a circle. Go to the midpoint. Midpoint. And that is 0.25. Enter. It's fully constrained. Locked on. Hit a pocket. And pocket it. And we're going to go all the way through. There you go. You can see it now. So now we got one side left. First I got to hit OK on that. So like if you select it more than once, it'll select the whole cube. You don't want to do that. You just come outside the cube and right click, or I'm sorry, left click, and then you can go back and select just one. There you go. Sketch. Do the same thing. Bring in these segments as references. Right click to get out of that. Set it to construction. Draw a line from midpoint to midpoint. And now I'm getting a report of conflicting constraints. Let me try that again. Right click. Hit that line and delete it. And I'll try to figure that out. I think I know what happened. But let me see if I can do it right. Midpoint. There we go. I think what happened was I didn't somehow, you see that horizontal right there, that horizontal locked in on that line without hitting the midpoint. So I'm going to try to make sure I got midpoint symbol. Okay, it's showing midpoint and it's also showing horizontal. And if I move to the left, I got horizontal. If I move a little more to the right, I got midpoint horizontal. And I think that's the confusion because you have two constraints, midpoint and parallel, which that's called over constraint. You can have one or the other, but not both. So let me select that and see what happens. Select, yep, okay. So all I got to do is just remove one of those constraints. Let me see what it did for me here. Redundancy. All right, I'm tired of messing with this. Right click. Okay. All right. Let me close this and see what's going on. All right, let me double click this sketch, go back in. I'm going to select that line and delete it. And these lines over here, I want to delete that. Select that. Delete. I'm deleting it on my keyboard, but it's not deleting. I think maybe I have to hit that. All right, selected that line, and I'm going to hit Control key and select that line, and then I'm going to turn it to construction. Try it again. Yeah, empty sketch. All right. Bear with me here. We're set to construction. I'm going to put a line in there. I'm just going to grab this midpoint this time. Midpoint to midpoint. It really doesn't like that. That's strange. Because it was working on all the other ones. You saw it. I'm going to right click. I'm going to get rid of that. And then I've got another trick up my sleeve. See if that works. I'm going to overextend the line past the other line segment. So grab the midpoint here. There we go. And then I'm just going to drag it over to here and set it to horizontal. You can see the horizontal symbol. Horizontal. Okay. We didn't get any kind of conflicts or errors. I'm going to right click. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use this trim command to trim that line. Hopefully it takes it back. Yep. You see where there's a circle there. I'm going to grab that line, select it, and it trims it back, and it's fully constrained. That, I'm going to right click here. This is one of the things that could end up driving you crazy with FreeCAD, that it's not a fully polished system like other high-priced 3CAD software packages, and I don't want to mention their names. They would probably not have issues like this. And you saw I did exactly what I did on the other sketches, and for some reason there was conflict with the constraints that I was trying to set, the automatic constraints. So if somebody who knows this better than me can correct me, please do. But I'm just going to write it off as something odd that happens that I cannot explain. And if I draw this object again, I probably won't ever run into that error again. I don't know. But a lot of that happened to me in the past, and that was one of the things that frustrated me. But don't get me wrong, this is minor compared to many years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when I was trying to use FreeCAD. And number one, I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing. I'm much, much better at it now. I'm not highly proficient, but I'm better. Certainly there are people that can run circles around me. But here it is, fast forward to now. And you saw I didn't really have any issues drawing this until I got down to the last surface where we wanted to put the hole, and then this jumps out. So anyhow, just want to point that out. FreeCAD is still a great program to use, especially for free. I love it. Let's go ahead and finish this sketch. We need to put our circle in there. So change this geometry back over to solid lines. Now I'm going to put a circle at the midpoint of that construction line, 0.25, and enter. Everything looks good, no issues. Close it. Select pocket. I'm going to go through all, and there you go. Yay, we're done. We're finished. Make that in your wood shop. That actually looks like it would have been pretty fun. It'll give your drill press a workout. That paperweight. All right, hit OK. I use this symbol, this isometric symbol up here, to just put it in position, center it before I save it. And let's go ahead and do some organization management here. Close some. Here we go, right here. Close that. There you go. So everything, all the work we did is kind of rolled up under the body of paperweight. So you can select that there, and you can see that. And each pocket that we did, there's a sketch underneath that. So, but we'll go ahead and roll everything up underneath of that body. Select that body. You see it selected here. I'm going to right click it just to make sure it's an active body. You see the check mark. It's an active body, so I'll just select over here somewhere. And plus it's highlighted green. And I will come down here to the view tab, the data. it should be showing me, let me select paperweight, there we go, paperweight, and roll that up. Alright, so that paperweight there, okay, so in order for me to, there you go. For some reason the view tab wasn't showing, but now I got it worked out. You select over here, that's selected, the view tab's not showing. What you have to do is actually either select the cube over here, but the best thing to do is select it one more time here until the entire cube highlights. Now you can change the color. So I'll go to there, select that, do that one. I won't go as, you know what, I'm going to try to use this pad over here, just roll around and try to get a, what would a wood color be? Let's go with that, even though that looks gold. Hit OK, select the screen, and there we go. We'll call it a new wood species, gold wood. There you go. All right, that's it. Let me go ahead and save it, or exit out. I'll exit and save. Exit. Save. Close that out. And okay. All right. Well, hopefully this video is shorter than the other ones. I had to break part 3 into 2. I just got long-winded, but it's just, there's just so much stuff to show you that I'm going to try to make these shorter and shorter. But once I get into them, you know, this is not scripted. This is off the cuff. You know, I've drawn some of these items before, but it's been months and months and months since I've drawn them. But I thought they were good items to try to make 3D models of. At the same time, learn new things, building on previous sketches. I think I have 3 or 4 more sketches to go to get you from absolute beginner up to knowing what you need to know to probably do most of what you'll ever do in a wood shop. I'm going to do multiple bodies, show you how to move things around, adjust, you know, something like designing a shelf. I mean, that's pretty easy, where you can adjust shelf heights and just move objects around like you would. You'd build your pieces separate in a shop, in a wood shop, and you would fasten them together or glue them together. That's kind of the concept of the individual bodies. Think of the individual bodies as individual planks or pieces of wood that you cut out and shape before you assemble everything. So within the next couple, 2 or 3 videos, we'll get you up to that level, and then after that you'll definitely have the skills that you need to do just about anything you need to do in a wood shop. You probably don't even need to learn anything more past that, but of course I'm gonna close that series out, learn from the videos I've done, try to make them better, improve on them, be quicker about it, and then start another series getting into assemblies and see how I can do assemblies from a woodworker's perspective. And so we'll get into that later. All right, thank you so much for hanging in there. I guess that's it. So have a great day. Appreciate your time here. Again, please, I really do appreciate feedback. I'm new at this with YouTube. I know I got a lot to improve on. I'm thick-skinned. Say what you want. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You're just going to make me better, because I'm not giving up. So with that, steady as she goes.